Marvel Studios has a lot of choices to make in regards to what happens with everything in regards to Deadpool, those characters, and that universe, and even the bigger Marvel Studios multiverse. So let's talk about Cable's and X-Force's future. So I don't think many people will disagree with me when I say that X-Force within itself is a whole brand that Marvel Studios can use and sell a more darker slash hardcore slash side project that isn't really on the same level as the X-Men, but that can really go into different corners of the Marvel universe and explore a darker corner of what it means to be a mutant, especially with espionage and using characters that don't necessarily line up with the ideals, let's put it that way, that Professor X would have. I mean, that's exactly what X-Force is, and the members of that team are typically more rugged and more willing to dish out the damage and, do damage, even if there is collateral damage that can make mutants look bad, even though some of them are proper members of the X-Men, like Wolverine, for example, but there's also villains that become a part of that team. So it's not really surprising that we hear some rumors out there that X-Force is going to be a franchise when Marvel Studios finally starts introducing the X-Men, when Deadpool joins the MCU, when Cable is a part of the MCU, and all that. And to me, this honestly just kind of screams of this was the only thing that Fox really understood that they had with Deadpool. And if you guys remember, X-Force was supposed to be a film that happens after Deadpool 2, before Deadpool 3. But then the Fox merger slash buyout by Disney started to happen, and they kind of shelved that, and then nothing really happened. But that film was literally about to start production 2 weeks before Disney announced their intent to buy Fox, so things were obviously put on hold. And I think Disney has probably seen some of the ideas and things they were willing to do in there and goes, well, we're going to have the X-Men, we're going to have Deadpool, why not have a couple more pillars of the X-Men there? Just like the Avengers, just like spinning off multiple characters, just like multiple spin-off shows and movies, I think X-Force is literally a no-brainer because it's a brand that's recognizable, yet you can do more unconventional things with it. And the whole idea of them being a underground-style X-Men group that's willing to kind of look the other way for the greater good, I think is really appealing from a standpoint of you can't just have the heroes always be the good guys with no bad intent. Like, that kind of loses some interest, which I think that was part of the problem with some of the X-Men films. Many of the characters just all ended up looking and sounding the same because they were focused on one thing. X-Force adds a completely different element in that because they all work for the greater good, even if they don't necessarily see eye to eye. So I see tons of potential for a franchise just in that concept as well. I mean, essentially, just make it Marvel's Suicide Squad outside the Thunderbolts.